Well, let's take a look at one of my favorite new features here inside of Photoshop CS3, and that is called Smart Filters. And Smart Filters are a way to non-destructively add filters to your images here inside of Photoshop. It's been one of those requests it's been around for quite some time, but now you can actually do it. You can add a filter to an image. You can close that image, you can do whatever you want, and you can open it back up at a later date, and you can change the settings in that filter. It's really very revolutionary stuff. Okay, so let's take a look at our layers palette. We've got one layer inside of here, normally what you would have when you open up a photograph. Now let's say you want to add some filters to it. Well, I'd normally come up to the filter menu and I'd come down and add my filters inside here, but you're going to see a new option toward the top here, and it's called Convert for Smart Filters. And when I select that option, because I have to do this before I run a smart filter or it's just not going to work. So what I'll do here is press this option, and Photoshop's going to give me a dialog that tells me this layer will be converted into a smart object. And that's what you need before you can run a smart filter. The layer needs to be a smart object. So smart objects are not new in CS3. Smart objects actually came about in CS2. We can just now take them further in CS3. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And you're going to see the only difference that we have here is at the bottom of the layers palette, we now have that little icon that's at the bottom right hand side of that thumbnail and layers palette, I should say. And that's letting us know that that is indeed now a smart object. Okay, so now we're going to go up to the filter menu, and you've got a couple options here. You could go just down to the menu and you could actually just pick a filter, or you could try your filter gallery. I'm going to go down to the menu and let's go with maybe a halftone pattern filter. And we get a really large dialog box, but I should be able to at least maneuver it so you can see here. And we'll change a couple of the settings. We'll change the size setting. That's going to make that halftone pattern a little bit larger. We can also change the contrast, and you can get a preview here. So we'll just click OK. And take a look at what happened here. Photoshop added this little item right below our layer thumbnail, and it shows us it's a halftone pattern. It shows us the filter that we just created. So what that's doing is it's giving us the ability to A, turn it off if you don't even want to see it anymore, or B, look at it and decide maybe I want to change the settings, so I'm going to double click on it, and it opens up that filter gallery dialog again, and inside here I could come in and I could change the size setting to make it a little bit smaller if I wanted to, and just click OK, and it updates live right on the screen here. So very cool stuff. But now let's do it again. Let's add another filter. So let's go down to our filter menu. We'll go over to, let's say we go over to Sketch again. And in this example here, I think I'll choose, how about the notepaper filter? And take a look at what this one does to it. And it kind of takes away a lot of the background here. We can mess around with these. Let's mess around with the image balance settings here. And we could start to bring in some of the shading on her face. We can create almost a comic book type effect here. We can change the graininess to be higher. You can see we get more texture. And also the relief will start to give us some different effects inside of here as well. You can see it adds some texture in there as well. So now let's just click OK, and that'll add that filter to the photo as well. So now we've got two filters that we've added inside here. And what this still means is I can come back and edit either one of them. So as I look at this effect now, I think maybe I want to make my pattern in that halftone pattern filter a little bit larger. So I'll come inside of here and I'll do just that. Look at the photo here and maybe bump my size setting up just a couple of pixels here. Click OK. And then you can see it updates live right on the screen here. So now we're actually applying two filters non-destructively. If I want to, I could just as easily come under the File menu. I could choose Save. Make sure you save this as a PSD file. You'll see here, make sure you use the Photoshop PSD format. And what that's going to do is save your layers. Then when you open it up at a later date, you'll be able to see that the filters are still inside of here, and you can still come and double click and check and change any one of the filters that you just added here. So really powerful stuff when it comes to adding filters here. It's been a long-standing request for Photoshop, and now we finally have it. Now we've got the ability to add a filter to a layer and then always have the option to come back later and to change those settings.